Live from the beautiful campus of Detroit Mercy on a perfect mid-May day for whatever you want to do. We get a chance to watch some PSL soccer, a championship on the line today, right off McMickles Road. We got Cass Tech against Detroit Western with a Detroit PSL Championship in girls soccer on the line. Evan Stockton with you. So here's what we've got going on in this matchup between the Cowgirls and the Technicians. For the Cowgirls, they have been the standard bearer in PSL girls soccer for nearly a decade now. They have won 8 straight girls soccer city championships. And kind of like on the boys' side, which we've had the chance to cover on the prep here over the years, Cass Tech and Western, the two preeminent soccer programs in our great city of Detroit. Problem is, on the girls' side, Cass Tech cannot beat Western in this championship game specifically. They've lost a handful of years in a row. They lost in this championship game last year. But really good matchup between these two teams last Friday when Western eked out a 4-3 win against Cass Tech. First time that these two teams had played this year, and they will play it again today on a beautiful day for soccer. PSL Championship on the line. Western and Cass Tech once again. You know, these two teams played for a championship a couple of years ago back in 2023, and Western won that game 6-5. Eventually went to a shootout. We're hoping for something similar today between the Technicians and Cowgirls. Let's take a break, come on back, and keep on getting you ready for this one between Cass and Western. Championship on the line on a perfect spring day, barely a cloud in the sky. Excited to be here at Detroit Mercy, and we're back for the start in just a little bit.
Take a look at us right now. We are everything that will be. We are an engine of progress that has been forged by generations, driven by the knowledge that each student in every classroom has the potential to be their best self and inspire us all. We are teachers, parents, families, all ready to do our part. We know when students rise, we all rise. We are Detroit Public Schools Community District.
Hi, I'm Nick DePonio, and this is HVAC.
Your Catholic faith, it's at the core of who you are, what you do, and the decisions you make. At Alliance Catholic Credit Union, we make your faith and finances work together. From home needs to business needs, from school to retirement, we've got the financial well-being of our Catholic community covered. Visit us today and see how your faith and finances can work together. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Back at Detroit Mercy, we've got Cass Tech against Western for a PSL Girls Soccer Championship. We've gotten used to covering this matchup on the boys and girls side over the last handful of years, and we get another matchup between the Technicians and the Cowgirls. Evan Stockton with you, wherever you're watching, however you're watching on the prep, on this beautiful May day. You know, this is the type of day when we're shoveling God knows what out of our driveway in December and January and February. It's what we live for, right? Beautiful day. Hopefully you're watching this thing on a porch because this is a beautiful day, and excited to watch this one between Cass Tech and Detroit Western here on the campus of Detroit Mercy. soccer field here, of course, home to the men's soccer team here at Detroit Mercy. Just wrapped up their spring slate a handful of weeks ago and getting ready for the start of their season right about in the middle of August. But for now, girls soccer takes the stage here. Western the favorite coming in. They've won 8 straight girls soccer city championships here in Detroit. Their season's been interesting. They have a 6-6 record. They've won 4 in a row, though. They started 2-6, but in their last 4, they're finding their footing. They've actually won these last 4 games by a combined score of 29-6, and they've scored 8 or more goals in 3 of those wins. As for Cass Tech, the record's impressive. They're 6-3-1. We were talking about earlier how they did lose to Western 4-3 last Friday, but they'd won the prior 3 games by a combined score of 20-0, and these technicians can score. They've scored at least 6 goals in 6 of their matches this year. They're gearing up for the playoffs, which will start against Dearborn Heights Crestwood next week, Wednesday. Got one more game the technicians do against River Rouge next Monday before they get to that point. As for Western, they're going to play Grosse Pointe South in their first district playoff game. That's on the Division I side of things. They did lose to Grosse Pointe South in the playoffs when they played them back a couple of years ago. Speaking of the familiarity between these two programs, the boys' teams and girls' teams are coached by the same 2 gentlemen. Brad Dewar, the head coach for Detroit Western, and Philip Jack, the head coach for Cass Tech. You will see them roaming the sidelines all afternoon into the early evening long. Which, by the way, it's probably technically evening by now. It's almost 7 o'clock, but the sun's still out. You know, we're used to the sun setting at 6:30, and it just makes it easier to decide when evening is. But when it's 7 o'clock and the sun's still out, you got to remind yourself that there's a lot more fun things to happen coming up here. Cass Tech in that familiar white and green, and Detroit Western in the dark maroon with black stripes across the jersey as well. Apple Felder, the junior, about to kickstart it for Cass Tech. A long line of athletic success at their school. I know a few of you probably watching don't need reminding of that. Reigning state champs in football, the technicians of Cass Tech. So much basketball success over the years. Won a state title in that couple of years ago. And now they play for a city championship, which Detroit Western has won 8 years in a row. And they get this one ahead right out of the chute. Do they score 20 seconds in? They do not. Save, rebound high. Oh, they almost still scored 20 seconds in. Excellent opportunity for the Cowgirls. But strong keeping by Cass Tech keeps it at 0-0. And that's good news for Cass Tech. Obviously, when you've played this team for so long in Western and struggled against them, giving up a goal in the first 20 seconds or so. Keeper had trouble with that. Ends up swallowing it. So these two teams played that 4-3 game last week, but last year, Western and Cass played 4 times in girls soccer, and Western won all 4 of those games by a combined score of 24-2. Won a game in the playoffs 7-0. So, of course, that's something that is sitting in the back of both teams' minds. But the beauty of sports is that on any given day, anything could happen.
I'll tell you what, you zoom in on this kick. You just zoom in on it and then ready one for play. On the kick. Take one.
Left-footed boot from Jocelyn Villarreal is rolling wide. And another goal kick coming up for Cass Tech. That's the keeper for Cass Tech. Name we'll get to say all day long. Sonia Singh, one of the keepers for Cass Tech. Jasmine Ramirez, the freshman keeper. Singh, the senior keeper. And while Western has kept play pretty much in Cass Tech's back third for the entirety of this match, Cass Tech is fending them off so far. Free kick coming up for Western outside of the box. Let's see what they can set up on the set piece. Villarreal took the set piece a minute ago. She'll take it again here. Swung into the box and headed off the bar. Another great opportunity for the Cowgirls. They've had a couple in the first 3 minutes. You see the great service in from Villarreal and then got the head to it. Clangs off the bar. You know, we talk about Cass Tech trying to make sure Western doesn't get the early momentum. Cowgirls now have had two great opportunities begging in the first 3 minutes. They try the right side, and the ball rolls out along that end line. They will give the Cowgirls in the corner. They'll take that corner kick from the far side of the pitch. They'll play it quick off that corner. Send it back in. Technicians after it. Attempting to clear it to safety, and they will. This is a nice run for Felder. Those bright orange cleats. Look at her still possess. Felder with so much room. Oh, she's brought down hard. Still going. Felder eventually sends it wide, but you have got to give her some love. That was a heck of a run. She ran the whole field.
Did we get the body check?
And then poor Apple Felder, number 2 for Cass Tech, ends up a little worse for wear. Villarreal sends it to the middle. As Felder, by the way, is still behind the play a little bit for Cass Tech. Set up in formation, getting a little breather after that full run of the pitch. Ball ahead. Cowgirls trying to get to it. Long shot coming. And it's in. A seeing-eye goal for Western. They've got the early lead. It caromed off one limb and then set up for a golden strike that took an odd bounce in. So it's 1-0 Cowgirls, but here's Felder again. She's just tied it. It took them less than 10 seconds. Apple Felder in the first 5.5 minutes for Cass won't be denied. You know, there's this phrase in hockey that anyone who's ever played hockey before will know. The coach yells on the bench, hey, when we score a goal, first minute, we can't give one up. Well, Western just gave up a goal to Cass literally 10 seconds after they scored to take the lead. Another one could be coming for the Cowgirls. That ball's loose in the box. They got another one. It's a scoring avalanche. Casey Aguilar has given the Cowgirls the lead. The flag was up. It's an offside play. Well, one of the officials was telling us an offside play. It turned out he was explaining to one of the fans who thought it was an offside play. It's 2-1. So Aguilar's goal has given the Cowgirls the 2-1 lead. If we go more than 10 seconds with a goal in this game, you wonder what the heck's going on. The amount of soccer you watch, there's so many who watch the game and they see 1 goal, 2 goals, 3 goals max in a game, and they wonder why there isn't more scoring. Well, if it's done correctly, that's where it should be, with both teams in formation. When you get goals is when formation breaks down. An apt way to describe a game of soccer is it's basically a huge moving chess piece, right? And for any of us who have played chess, and I'm not good at it, but I've played it, the game involves a great amount of patience and how you set up the moves, and eventually you take the queen and then the king. Well, that's kind of soccer. All these little chess moves that build up to a goal. And if you lose your formation, if you lose your shape, you can get what we've had here in the last minute and a half. Bunch of goals. Felder's got the goal for Cass. Aguilar has the last for Western. Again, this Western team can score. They've won 4 in a row, and they've scored almost 30 goals during that time. Physicality continues. As a Cowgirl fell down, there was no call on the strong Cass tackle. This ball rolling out. It will be a throw. Signaled for Cass Tech. You can see the houses in the background, the setup here at Detroit Mercy. Callahan Hall directly to our right as we sit middle of the field. Callahan Hall quiet for now, but give it a few months and basketball season will be in full swing again. Ball's out for another Cass throw. Men's and women's teams at Detroit Mercy will be occupying Callahan Hall, along with, of course, a lot of high-level high school hoops. PSL, Catholic League will all be in there. It'll be a new season, a new era for Detroit Mercy women's basketball next year because their coach, Kay Doctor, is now the head coach at Western Michigan. Coach Doctor had done an excellent job here with the Titans. Long try goes wide. Sonia Singh was ready. Adventurous try from a long way out. Not a horrible idea. Kenya Zamudio with the left-footed swing. Eggert was over the ball for Cass Tech. Fortunately, we have a Cowgirl injury here. Always tough to see in a championship game like this, someone have to be helped off the pitch. That's Sherlyn Villarreal, number 12 for the Cowgirls, who was just helped off the pitch. She is walking a little gingerly, but off on her own power. We'll keep her fingers crossed that she's all right. And now we have a technician who was hit by a ball right in her face. She'll be all right. You know, part of the deal when you get hit like that, that was Karis Barbie walking off the field. She got off pretty quick. It's almost part of the shock of a ball hitting you in the face, right? How many times do you watch a basketball game and you see someone fall to the floor hard and they're stunned for a minute, and then they're all right? Very capable medical staff on the sidelines. They'll be all right to check her out. Around the city of Detroit, when you think soccer, you think Western. Cowboys, multiple-time PSL city champs. Girls team has won 8 in a row and off to a 2-1 lead here. Aguilar scored the last one for them. After Cass Tech had tied it, Felder scored 10 seconds after Western scored to start the game. And we got a whistle. This will be a free kick opportunity for the Cowgirls. Oh, they rule it on Western instead, so Cass Tech free kick. Egger over it again. Villarreal passed it right. Still got that ball. With room and a shot. It's off the bar. You've got to be kidding me. They've hit that crossbar twice. Another try blocked and rolling on the keeper. Oh, poor opportunities for the Cowgirls that just wouldn't go in. Zamudio took this one, and watch it. Missed everything but the crossbar. Man. So it stays Western 2-1. They had a header go off the crossbar earlier, and now a shot that goes off the bar. Felder took it away. Oh, what a save! Felder almost had her second of the game, but a big save made. We have seen that athleticism from Felder. You know, she scored her first goal 10 seconds after Western had that first goal. She's been all over the pitch. Cass Tech playing to space again. Western defense holds firm, but it will be a Cass Tech throw. Mackenzie Smith, excellent athleticism, number 18 for the Technicians. Again, these two teams played less than a week ago, and it was 4-3. So although Western's got all the history, Technicians not afraid, know this opponent well, and they're going to get a corner kick here. Felder forced to race and pick up that ball. She'll walk it back to the corner. Been all over the pitch, Felder has for Cass in this one. Adelaide Egger, member of the All-City team, to take the corner. And headed away. Cowgirls preparing to sub a couple in here. Technicians allowing Western to throw in. Not uncommon to see subs about 15, 20 minutes into a soccer match, specifically at the high school and collegiate level. When interchangeable subs are a thing, you can sub in and out. Zamudio plays it forward. Can Western get a body to it? Smith defending for Cass. A shot blocked and cleared. Smith back there again. Castech trying to get this out of the back third. Row to the back line. Cowgirls track it down. Zamudio over the bar. You do got to take those adventurous tries sometimes. But the angle can be acute sometimes. And that was an acute angle for Zamudio. Aguilar had the last goal for Western. A lead pushed back to 2-1. They scored the first one a couple minutes into the match, and then Appelfelder, if you're nearly scoring on an end-to-end run, got one right off the restart for the Technicians. Cowgirls looking for a third. And it's off the side of the net. Talked earlier in the half about how both coaches, Philip Jack for Castech, Brad Dewar for Western, also coach the boys' teams at all levels of sports. And you see it a lot at the high school level. Coaches that will go back and forth between coaching the boys, coaching the girls. And they'll both admit there are inherent challenges to both. Cowgirls keep it in play nicely before rolling out. Zamudio swings it forward and hoping to link up with someone at the end of that. Hard collision. A Cowgirl and Technician collide. Cowgirls came out with it. On to the keeper, and a nice catch by Singh. Looked a bit like a punt returner in football. Camp under that thing, call fair catch, and start your drive. A lot of traffic here for Western. Smith along that back line for Cass Tech has been active, but she turned it over. Cowgirls will get to this left side of the pitch. Trying to build up for a cross, but the defense is really good. Selena Allegria, number 7, just played good D for Cass Tech. And a carom off of a Technician here. Ball goes out of play. We'll get a Western sub coming out of the pitch, as they have also turned the lights on here at Detroit Mercy. Still plenty of sun in the sky, about 10 minutes shy of 7:30, but by the time we end, likely around 8:30-ish. Get a little darker, so good idea to turn the lights on. Corner for the Cowgirls, and it goes off of Smith. So another corner will be coming. You know, with those lights just being turned on, I'd make a Friday Night Lights joke, but it's Wednesday and it's May, so it'd be a really bad joke. Goal kick for Cass Tech. Speaking of Friday Night Lights, Technicians and Corey Sadler, yet again, will be one of the favorites in the state. Technicians won the state title Knocked off Detroit Catholic Central in the semis the week before that. CC may have gotten the high school football win of the season when they beat Bryce Underwood and Belleville in the regional. But the Technicians clipped him in the semis and then went on to win the whole thing. Testing that back line again. And sent out for another goal kick. We were so lucky on the prep last year to cover so many teams that eventually made it down to Ford Field. Byron Center and St. Mary's, who played for state championships against one another, featured heavily on the prep. He's got a fresh sub coming into the game for Cass Tech. That's Kelly Ford, number 16, out of the pitch. Cass Tech, of course, football frequently featured on the prep. Believe it or not, football season in the fall will be here before we know it. But there are so many people watching this game who are just finishing school, and they're saying, Evan, please stop talking about the fall. I want to enjoy the summer. So I'll stop talking about it. Play to the back line again, and Smith once again a strong clear. Zamudio was winding and firing, but that one was rolling all the way to the back fence. You can kind of sense that Western, pressing's not the right word here, but they are trying to get a little bit of game pressure on Cass Tech. You know, the 3 goals we have in this match all came in like a minute span. And for possession stats, Cowgirls have roughly commanded at least 70% of that, if not 75%. Ford working away from pressure and giving it up. And this will be another goal kick. A lot of opportunistic Cowgirl shots. And all of those opportunistic shots have not found the back of the net. Cass Tech just desperate for a little possession as Zamudio takes another try, and that's a really nice save. Still loose and in. The consistent Cowgirl pressure leads to goal number 3. Great save on the initial try, but playing it back to the middle, and that is an easy finish. Sherlyn Villarreal, the 3rd goal for the Cowgirls, and a 3-1 lead. All right, now watch carefully here. That's Appelfelder, who the last time Western scored, well, after they scored their first goal, managed to score 10 seconds later. So blink your eyes and take your eyes away from the screen at your own peril with her.
Tell you what, let's get we'll put one on replay and let's get another look at the goal.
Fortunately, it looks like the Cass Tech keeper after that last goal will have to leave the match to get another look at that great first save. Often big, juicy rebounds can be the results of really good saves, and that's what just happened. So we're going to keep her swap here. The pressure has been consistent for the Cowgirls. 3 goals and a 3-1 Western lead. Those restarts have been tricky. Cass Tech had been able to capitalize earlier. Jocelyn Villarreal plays to space on the right side. And Felder swings it away. As we watch this PSL Girls Championship game, it starts to get interesting, right? Because so many students, high school students, middle school students, elementary students around the state are starting to get out of school. But there are very important games to come. You have state finals for girls soccer and baseball and softball up at Michigan State in about 3 weeks or so. Get out of school and you get a little more time to focus on just the sports. Kind of like when you're on holiday break, right? All you got to focus on is basketball. It's a little bit of a slice of heaven's maybe a little too strong, but all the guys and girls appreciate it. Right on to the new cast keeper, and it is handled. Sing, the senior keeper for Cass. Jasmine Ramirez, the freshman. "40-minute halves in high school soccer, coming up on 25 minutes in. Cowgirls looking for a fourth. Worked away from Smith. Zamudio shot blocked. Technicians clear to a little space. This will be out for a Cowgirls throw. It's a beautiful night here in Detroit. Down the road, Tigers are wrapping up a 3-game series against the Red Sox. Just tied it at 1. They're in the top of the 4th. It's Scooble Day, so the odds are high that they're going to win. I'm sure you saw how the Tigers won last night. Javi Baez has been reincarnated as Babe Ruth. 2 home runs and 6 runs driven in last night. Not just the Tigers' excitement, but also here in the city, excitement about the Lions' schedule officially getting released in about a half hour or so, but you've probably seen the leaks. If the internet is to be believed, the Lions are playing in both Thanksgiving and Christmas this year, so our holidays are about to be a lot more stressful. Also a game at the Eagles, a Sunday night game against Kansas City and Mahomes and Kelsey and all their cast of characters. Will Taylor Swift be at that game? Who knows? Cowgirls track it down, far side of the pitch. Got that 3-1 lead. Sherlyn Villarreal just scored the last one. In the middle, they've got it again. Play to the top of the box. Rolling right on Cass's keeper. We've seen both of the keepers for the Technicians in this one. Singh and Ramirez. Jocelyn Villarreal keeps on going. Good looking cross, almost went all the way in. You be the judge. Was this a cross or was this a shot? Whatever it was, it almost went in. Yeah, you could say it was a cross because another Villarreal, Jocelyn, was nearly on the end of that, but also maybe Sherlyn put it up and thought, well, it's technically a cross, but this thing almost may go in, so I got to take credit as a shot.
Yeah, I don't know why they do it that way. I guess it's really the guys who are weird, right?
Coming up on the half-hour mark of this first half. To state the obvious, It'll be a big final 12.5 minutes of the first half. Western gets another goal or two that really puts the pressure on the Technicians going into the second half. A 2-goal deficit about as large as Cass could handle. Technicians get another goal. Things look a whole heck of a lot different going into the second 40 minutes. Played into the box. And that will be handled by Western. The possession time has certainly belonged to the Cowgirls. But Technicians have been very opportunistic when they've had it. Smart play by Cass Tech, letting that roll out for a throw. Both teams went after it. We have received confirmation. It will be a Cass Tech throw. In case you were wondering, by the way, the Lions' Christmas Day game is at Minnesota. It is not at Ford Field. Week 1 is at Green Bay. That was confirmed earlier. And there is a game at Washington later on in the season. I don't know about you, but I'm still kind of mad at Jaden Daniels. And I'll still be mad at Jaden Daniels for a while. That playoff game won't leave me. And I don't think it's left you either. Cowgirls trying to get a fourth. Long shot going wide. Cowgirls got the first goal pretty quick, and Applefelder tied it for Cass Tech pretty quick right after that. Aguilar and Villarreal have the last two for Western. They're 2 unanswered goals to give the 8-time defending Soccer City champs a 3-1 lead. Zamudio in the middle. On to the left side. And a Villarreal run. She's been good at this. Cross high and over the crossbar. An update from Comerica Park. It is now 2-1 Red Sox. Alex Bregman has now homered in consecutive games because the baseball gods have a very wicked sense of humor. Remember, Alex Bregman did not decide to sign with the Tigers. Here comes the cross. Ooh, just over its intended target. And rolling out for a goal kick. That was a really good ball ahead to Sherlyn Villarreal, number 12 for the Cowgirls, who has already scored in this game. Felder to take the kick. Not uncommon at the high school and sometimes collegiate level. Somebody other than the keeper takes that kick. Can they track it down? No, they can't. Adventurous ball played ahead. Magana was hoping to get to the other side of that ball, number 9 for Western. Cowgirls will make another sub here. Fresh bodies onto the pitch. They made a couple of substitutes in this first half. Again, high school and collegiate soccer, you can have interchangeable subs. It's not like professional soccer when you're subbing out of the game, you're out of the game. Jocelyn Villarreal has showcased the power in her left leg on set pieces today. She'll do it again here. This is an excellent ball all the way in. Oh, what a magical finish. You could kind of sense as he was stepping over that one, I think we're going to have a little pixie dust. That thing had some smoke on it. She's immediately back to game face. But I did see a smile. When you score from that far out, Jocelyn, you're allowed to crack a smile. 3 in a row for the Cowgirls, a 4-1 lead. Rolling out for a Cowgirls throw, and it's kind of what we were talking about, right? Handful of minutes ago. Final 12 minutes and change of the first half. Really important to what the second half looks like. Does Cass Tech get back in it? Do the Cowgirls keep on growing that lead? The lead has grown. Six to 2, the shots on goal, according to the scoreboard here at Detroit Mercy. Western has scored 4 times. Aguilar and both Villarreal's among the ones to score for the Cowgirls. Nifty ball ahead. That is well done. Amy Plata had the solid foot skills for Western. Goes out for a throw. We've covered PSL soccer the last couple of years. It's been fun to talk about the growth of soccer here in Detroit specifically. Sport has grown across the country for so many years. World Cup in 1994 was kind of a fulcrum point for the growth of the sport. Feels like all of us grew up playing some level of soccer. World Cup will be host in the United States and Canada and Mexico next year, 2026. Feels in many ways like a nice bookend from 1994 when the game first started taking off. And now here in the States, such a thriving soccer culture. Very successful pro league, which managed to lure maybe the greatest soccer player of all time, Lionel Messi, to the league. All that's really left for happen is for the U.S. men's national team to go deep in a World Cup. A lot thought that would happen starting next year. Still time for things to change. Hard collision between a technician and a Cowgirl. Again, number 18 for the Technicians, Mackenzie Smith in here. Took a hard bump. For anyone who doesn't believe soccer's a physical sport, please present them that replay. Still time for a fifth. 3 in a row for Western. Felder scored the goal for Cass Tech to knot it up at 1. But ever since, the Cowgirls have written the script. Nifty foot skills and a gorgeous back heel. Starting to show off. Plata plays to the middle, but cleared aside by Cass. These Technicians come in with a record of 6-3-1. As we've talked about, lost to Western 4-3 last Friday. And won the prior 3 matches 20-0 combined. Couple of subs in for the Technicians here. Bautista, number 20, and Ramsey, number 8. 2 of the women into the match. Technicians play River Rouge on Monday before they start the playoffs against Dearborn Heights Crestwood next Wednesday. Lost to Crestwood in the playoffs in 2023. It's in their second playoff game. Won the first. Felder's got it for the Technicians. She's already scored once. Ball ahead, but the flag is up. That's offside. Brianna Arkin-Lopez was offside for the Technicians. It's a good idea for Felder, but Lopez clearly offside. Even that black tent can't cloud our vision. That was an offside play. These two schools, Cass and Western, two original schools in Detroit to field soccer programs. Their boys seemingly match up in the PSL title every year, and the girls are common opponents as well. A couple of years ago here on the prep, Cass played Western, and Western beat them 6-5 in a shootout. Goals have not been lacking in this one as well. Western hoping for a fifth. They'll track it down to the left side and shoot it off the side of the crossbar. Zamudio nearly had one. All she's done today for Western, she deserves a goal at some point. She's been a focal point of that attack. Here she is again. Getting to the foot and playing it ahead. Tracked down along the end line. And cleared. Villarreal winding up. Rolling wide this time. She had that gorgeous finish on the free kick. So every time she lets one go, you're kind of thinking, I think she's going to do it again. But that time it does go wide. First half that saw a tie score 1-1. But Western has scored the last three. Played to the middle with 5 seconds in the half. 3-2-1, 40 minutes in the books. Detroit Western in PSL girls soccer has won 8 city championships in a row. And they're off to a strong start for number 9. The 4-1 lead after 40 minutes.
Take a look at us right now. We are everything that will be. We are an engine of progress that has been forged by generations, driven by the knowledge that each student in every classroom has the potential to be their best self and inspire us all. We are teachers, parents, families, all ready to do our part. We know when students rise, we all rise. We are Detroit Public Schools Community District.
First, life gives us many. From buying your first car or first home to starting a business, Alliance Catholic Credit Union is here for you every step of the way. From checking and savings accounts and youth accounts to auto loans, mortgages, business needs, and financial planning. A full-service financial institution with over 70 years of experience. We're committed to serving your firsts, seconds, 50ths, and every day in between. Alliance Catholic Credit Union. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Look, everybody wanna go and talk. At the same time, gotta walk. Better yet, run, go, hit a lick, divvy up with my homies, and we do it all again.
What makes people stand in this line like this for 3 hours? Because we're not Dunkin' Donuts or Tim Hortons. These donuts are made fresh daily, and it's made with love and consistency. We got the same ingredients. It didn't change. The people know that, and that's why they standing out there.
In today's ever-changing mortgage lending world, the importance of true professionals has never been greater. At Success Mortgage Partners, we want you to have the experience of a lifetime. Founded and owned by Catholic League alumni, our family-centered business keeps your interest at heart as we help you navigate this turbulent market with ease. If you or a family member has a mortgage need, please call me, Owen Lee, at 734-822-9792.
The store is set up. He's got the order, and he's off. It's a full court press. These brands are knocking it out of the park. This, my friends, is the speed we've come to expect from this team. Just look at the precision of that move. And it's out of here.
Hi, I'm Nick DePonio, and this is HVAC.
We are the MHSAA, a collection of 750 high schools and 750 middle schools, from Temperance to Copper Harbor, from New Buffalo to Alpena. Each year, more than 250,000 students play one of our 28 sports. More than 1.5 million fans attend our postseason games. There are 30,000 coaches and 8,000 officials, not to mention all of the volunteers. The MHSAA believes in the 4 S's. School sports should be safe and kept in the appropriate scope. We believe nothing beats great sportsmanship, and that scholarship in the classroom is more important than excellence on the field or court. Most of all, we believe school sports should be fun. So come out and join us at a game. Support your school, support your community, and come see what the excitement is all about.
In a high-level broadcast like you're watching today, for all those interested, make sure to follow us on all those forms of social media. Contact us at info@theprepsports.com. Still time for a spring broadcast, and obviously with fall sports in the not-too-distant future, we'd love to cover you coming up in the fall season. Football, boys soccer, the whole nine, and then getting into the winter and basketball season. If you're ever interested, info@theprepsports.com. We're here at Detroit Mercy today. PSL Girls Soccer Championship in Detroit Western, who has won 8 straight Girls Soccer City Championships, off to a 4-1 lead. You know, Cass Tech tied it at 1. Apple Felder scores a quick goal, literally 10 seconds after Western scored their first, to make it 1-1. But then the Cowgirls scored the last 3 in the match to make it 4-1. There's goal number 1 for Western. Get them on the board, give them a 1-0 lead. Early smiles, but then Felder changed it right back. That came 10 seconds after the Cowgirls scored. And then things started going back in Western's direction. The lead continued to grow throughout the first half. Casey Aguilar had goal 2. As more opportunities came off the crossbar, Western hit a couple of them. Great first save, then an easy finish, and a big juicy rebound on the second. Both Villarreal's Jocelyn and Sherlin have scored in this game. That was one heck of a strike from Jocelyn to give Western a 4-1 lead over Cass Tech. Second half of the PSL Girls Soccer Championship from the beautiful campus of Detroit Mercy starts after this. Lowering the shoulder.
Swing and a miss. McGinley scores!
And it's going to be a challenge for us. I mean, they're a really talented football team. I think everybody knows that.
4 wide receivers. Pressure. Steps up. Marshall wants to run again. Cuts down the middle of the field. All alone. Touchdown! Warriors! What a cut.
At Alliance Catholic Credit Union, we're your financial guardian angel. We're here to help you achieve your dreams. A new home, a Catholic education, that business you are working to build. We're here to support the goals of your family, your retirement, and the community that surrounds you. We're here to offer your trusted financial services inspired by Catholic values. And like your guardian angel, we'll always be by your side. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Lowering the shoulder.
Swing and a miss. McGinley scores!
Approaching the start of the second half. PSL Girls Soccer Championship between Cass Tech and Detroit Western. Cowgirls have won 8 straight Girls Soccer City Championships, and they're on their way again today. Scored the last 3 goals in that first half and ballooned a 1-1 tie to a 4-1 lead. Both Villarreal's and Aguilar had the last 3 in the match. Evan Stockton back with you, alongside Sherbs, the Hunt Man, and the other Evan on our broadcast crew from Detroit Mercy tonight. It's been a full day of sports here on the Prep, by the way. Had St. Mary's and Rochester Adams baseball earlier today. Got softball tomorrow. And finishing up the night with the PSL Girls Soccer Championship. Wherever you're watching, however you're doing it, thanks for making us a part of your Wednesday night. Cass Tech comes in with a 6-3-1 record. They did lose their last match, though, which happened to come against Western. That was a 4-3 game. Cass Tech, before that loss to Western last Friday, had won its last 3 matches by a combined score of 20-0. And as for Western, they started the season 2-6, but they're figuring it out right time. They've won 4 in a row. They've won those games by a combined score of 29-6, and they have scored 8 or more goals in 3 of those games. If they score as many goals in the second half as they did in the first half, they will once again get to that snowman of 8. If you're playing golf, you don't like having a card at 8. Don't like a snowman. But here in soccer, that's just fine. In fact, it's preferred. Western will restart it in those dark maroon and black striped jerseys. Cass Tech in the familiar green and white. Amy Plata, number 8, to kick it away for Western. 40 minutes away from yet another Soccer City Championship on the girls' side in Detroit. It will be their 9th in a row. Brad Dewar, the head coach, also the head coach of the boys team. Hoping for a little more history here today into tonight at Detroit Mercy. Off we go in the start of the second half. Zamudio so active in that first half for Western. Trapped by the defense for Cass Tech. Taken away by Villarreal. Played back to Zamudio on the left side. Try blocked by Smith. Trapped near that corner flag and dribbling away. Nice run there. With a 3-goal lead early in the second half, obviously, but you watch what the strategy is for Western. You see it all levels of soccer. Team grows a lead. At what time do they start to play more possession? Or how much do they push forward? Zamudio pushes forward here, and it keeps on rolling. Nearly found Plata at the end of this really great ball rolling all the way through the box. Nearly a fifth into the ledger for the Cowgirls. They'll track it down again, and Cass Tech's back third. For now, Western continues to push. No signs of slowing down. That cross, handled. Both of Cass Tech's keepers have played. Singh and Ramirez have both played in this game for Cass Tech. Throw in quick for Western. Zamudio played it to the middle and got it back on a good ball from Villarreal. Winding up for the cross, but it's off the side of the net. It'll be a Cass Tech goal kick. Villarreal takes it away for the Cowgirls. Her ball to the middle was handled, and here's Apple Felder, who has scored for the Technicians and controlled the pace when they've had possession. Her pass up ahead was handled there. Felder amidst that scrum again for Cass Tech. And it's a handball, judging by her reaction. They called it on Apple Felder, went off a limb. Just about 3 minutes into the second half. Ball crossed ahead. Rolling into the box. Cass Tech's back third, being pressured again. And we'll have a whistle. And it will be a Cass Tech free kick. Evan Stockton and Stephen Williams. Pleased to have you with us for this PSL Girls Soccer Championship on a Wednesday night. Stephen, you've made it.
Great to see you today.
What have you made of this match so far?
You know what? It's really been a good one. You know, it was much of a scoring fest really quick there. We had some back and forth action there between Cass Tech and Western. In about, a minute and 10 seconds, you had about 3 goals scored. Yeah. So, but then things settled down. The defenses settled back in. But then we see the time of possession still being dominated by the Cowgirls.
So we were just talking about this at the start of the second half, right? We see all levels of soccer. Teams got a multi-goal lead going into a half. How long do you continue to push, and then how long do you start playing defense? How long would you anticipate Western continues to push like they're doing here, but then maybe things start to change and they settle back on defense? What do you think their strategy is?
Knowing the way Coach Dewar is coaching these girls right now, he's telling them keep the pressure on all the way to the very end. He does not want them to let up. He does not want to give Cass Tech any signs of life, any hopes right now. He doesn't want them to get a goal here and then one more there, and that's all you need to build that confidence back up. So right now, if you're a Western, you're staying on top of this. You're not letting them get any kind of momentum going right now, and you're just going to crush their spirit.
And to your point, when these two teams played a few days ago, it was 4-3. Western won, but it was a close match. So Cass still has that relatively in the back of their mind. Like, we can score a handful of goals against the Cowgirls. It doesn't quite feel like the game's over yet, you know?
Exactly. And so what the technicians need to take their time to do right now is just build their attack. Right now, they're doing a lot of just deep shots, trying to hope to get past the defense. They need to take their time to build their attack from the offense, bring in those midfielders, and really start to get everyone involved in this scoring.
We've seen both the keepers, Steve, for Cass Tech in this game. Western keeper sends it away there. Onto the middle it comes for Western. Villarreal after it. She scored one of the goals in the first half. Had that gorgeous free kick goal from way outside the box.
That was a beaut. That was absolutely gorgeous.
Felder racing after it for the technicians. It'll be crossed in. And sent away by the Cowgirls back line.
Right now, those midfielders need to step up a little bit and help keep that ball right in that final attacking third for Cass Tech. They need a goal, right? They cannot come out of this possession without a goal. They need to begin to build their way back into this game.
They had it tied at 1. Felder scored that goal 10 seconds after Western scored. What's the quickest in a soccer match you've ever seen one team score and then somebody score right away?
That might have been one of the fastest times right there. I've probably seen a few times faster than that, but I mean that was one of the all-time fastest right there because they came right back down and scored, but then Western came right back down and scored on them. So those were two nice back-to-back jolts.
And then, as you said, the game kind of settled down from there. But, yeah, there was a minute span there where you go 20 seconds and you go, oh, no goal? What's going on?
Hey, I would say probably the fastest I would say is a goal scored in 0 seconds. But they just take that shot right there from midfield and it gets over everyone's head, over the goalie, and goes in for the score. You don't see that too often, but every now and again you get to see one of those.
Stranger things have happened.
Right now, those forwards need to keep that pressure on, and they need a little bit more help from that midfield.
It'll roll out for a Western throw. You know, back third has been pushed a little bit here, that back line for Western a little bit. It's got to be hard, right, where you're watching them push on the front foot most of the first half, and then all of a sudden you're counted on again defensively. It's not easy to stay in that mental mindset, I think.
You're exactly right, and that's where, as the Cass Tech coaching staff have to let their midfielders know that they have to still stay scoring-minded, especially when you're down like this. Now's the time to be aggressive. Now, on the other end of that, sometimes that aggression can backfire on you. Mm-hmm. But right now, when you're down 4-1 in the championship game, it's time for a little bit of aggression.
Still plenty of time. Still a half hour to go in this match.
So we're going to have a Cass Tech throw in here.
Selena Allegria to throw in. You know, Stephen, we were talking about in the first half how both of these coaches both coach the boys and girls programs at Cass Tech and Western. How much of a benefit do you think it is for both schools to have kind of one steady face at the top of your soccer program for boys and girls?
Well, that's how you keep the coaching philosophy and the culture the same across the board for boys and girls. You keep that culture of winning where you don't have to have that change of coaching staff, and you just have that same face that the kids trust and the kids know is going to push you to be one of the greats going forward. For these girls, it's got to be exciting to have someone like Coach Brad Dewar, who has championships upon championships upon championships, coaching them and the guys, showing them that they're just as much deserving as his attention as the guys are.
This Western girls soccer program 8 straight Soccer City Championships. Cass Tech and Western, both boys and girls soccer, very often playing against one another. You and I have seen Western and Cass play on the boys' side for PSL City Championships a lot over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, I mean, the very last team to challenge Coach Brad's Cowgirls for league championship outside of the Technicians was when I had the Summit Dragon girls going against them. But ever since then, it has been a nonstop Cass Tech Western championship battle. What we're waiting to see are some of these other DPS teams going to come in and crack that championship status again.
Playoffs await both of these teams. Cass Tech, when they get to the playoffs, slated to face Dearborn Heights Crestwood. Western, when they get to the playoffs, ready to play Grosse Pointe South in their first district playoff game coming up in the next week or so, 10 days. Exciting time of year, right? You get out of school, and then you got playoff games coming up.
Yes, yes. Now, the only thing that gets in the way of that a little bit is when you have a whole lot of seniors on your team. But now you're running into prom season, the graduation season, and now all of a sudden you're going to really test how dedicated these girls are to the sport.
That is an outstanding thing you just brought up that I didn't even realize, prom season. It's so true.
It really plays a real factor. As a coach, you got to find a way to work around that and fit the prom into your practice schedule.
"12 minutes into the second half. Western has the last 3 goals in this game. Nobody scored in the second half.
We need a big clearance from that back wall of defenders.
Oh, it went all the way in!
Goal! Cowgirls.
Jocelyn Villarreal has scored twice from a long way away tonight. Another beautiful strike from number 11 for Western.
And that's why I was just saying they needed a big clearance off of that back line, and they did not get it, and they paid for it.
You may be looking at our eventual G of the game. Jocelyn Villarreal, a beautiful goal off a set piece in the first half. And, you know, those are one, Steven, I'd have to imagine as a striker like that, as a goal scorer, you get to hit it right off the bounce like that. That's what you work on a million times in practice, so you can do it in the game.
That's just how you practice it. The ball falls right in the right spot for you, and you just let her rip. That's everything that a striker dreams of.
You may be able to hear it through the crowd microphone. The wind is really starting to pick up here.
And that's going to affect some of those floating balls that we just seen.
Yeah, Steven, I've often thought about this a lot because there's not such a thing, I guess, as soccer weather, right? Obviously, in the English Premier League, they play a lot of games in kind of damp and rainy because that's just the English climate. But is there a quote-unquote soccer weather, a type of weather where, as you're a player, you'd really like to play in?
Say, in the ideal weather, you got just enough overcast where there's no glare from the sun getting your eyes, but it's still bright enough where you can see everything super clearly. You don't want a whole lot of wind because sometimes you want to float that ball around and you don't want the wind moving the ball around. So I would say for today, it's a little windy, but generally speaking, we're almost there. Minus the wind, this is soccer weather. Temperature is just right so that once you start running around there and getting hot, you got that wind, you got that coolness to cool you down a little bit.
Conditions are such a thing on the men's side of college soccer once you get to the NCAA tournament. Western Michigan played a home men's soccer match in the tournament this year that they won, but they played it in a snowstorm. It snowed like 4 inches during the game.
And that is definitely not what we would call soccer weather.
Yeah.
You got to dribble the ball through that much snow. It's definitely losing a lot of traction.
Uh-oh.
Okay, we're getting a little bit heated over there.
something happened after the whistle was blown, and both teams came together. Apple Felder, number 2 for Cass Tech, was one of the girls in there who took exception to something.
Someone's going to get a card. The question is, what color is it going to be?
They've halted the clock at 25 minutes, 22 seconds while they figure out the card situation.
I'm thinking we're just going to get some yellow card warnings, but I don't know. As long as this is taking, someone might be, okay, it's definitely yellow. He's talking to the girls right now, giving them a warning, letting them know, cut the shenanigans out.
Yeah, I definitely think you don't want to end up in a game like this, in a championship game where someone's thrown out for a red card. So here's what happens. Physical play, we'll get bodies colliding. And then all of a sudden, there was some pushing and shoving.
It looked like things just got a little bit physical, and then tempers got flared a little bit. It tends to happen when you get these games that one team is leading by a larger margin. So right now, Cass Tech's starting to get a little bit heated, and we like to see the fire and the passion, but we don't want it to turn into foolishness. Especially this close to the state playoffs.
Right, exactly. And close to the end of the school year, you don't want any funny business happening.
Say the girls have to keep the main picture right now. This right now, this is the championship game. They want to go out there, give it their best, have a good time, get out of here safe, and get on to the state playoffs. Finish off the school year and get ready for next season.
So the officials are over there talking on the sideline. Specifically, they're talking to one of the Cass Tech coaches.
Looks like they're talking to Coach Brad Dewar right now. It looks like we have one of them talking with one of the Cass Tech coaches as well.
I also see a guy over there who's got a box of Timbits, and he didn't bring us any. Come on, man. You get some Timbits. You got to give them to everybody. I mean, what are we doing here?
Now, that would be our league commissioner, good old Coach Canty. He runs the program over at Henry Ford Academy, and he's the commissioner of this league we have set up for the girls. So he's one of the reasons that we get to include some of our charter schools in this league, because of the fact that there is no charter school soccer league.
Yeah.
So that's where Summit Academy and Henry Ford Academy comes in here and gets to play against the schools from DPS.
As you mentioned, Romulus Summit Academy, I think of how we've talked about how all the schools in the PSL successful in the other sports. Of course, Cass Tech football state champs. Well, Summit Academy North played for a basketball state championship this year. Lost to Warren Lincoln in Division II, but first time they never made it that far.
Yeah, Summit basketball has been doing its thing for some years now, and I mean they stay in the state championship hunt. Looks like we have a Cass Tech injury.
Yeah.
Another goalie.
We've seen Cass Tech sub out the keepers throughout this game. I'm not sure what happened to Jasmine Ramirez there. Because we've got the delay as they figure out the cards, and then Ramirez went down. Interesting.
She kind of went down right in the middle of the huddle, so I'm wondering what's going on there. If there's any kind of cramps or dehydration going on, perhaps.
That is another thing, too, right? Is where it's a warmer day. It's not a super warm day. This happens a lot once you get to October, November sports outside, where it gets a little colder and people do forget to hydrate. You can still cramp up even though the weather's not, as warm as it once was.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Speaking of the former former athlete myself, there have been some days where by the time I got home, I needed to drink some cans upon cans of tomato paste.
Tomato paste?
Hey, that's the best way to once you've already started cramping, that's the only way to stop it.
Okay. I thought pickle juice. I thought that's what everybody says. A tomato paste. All right.
Tomato paste is a quick reliever that gets you back going. And from personal experience, on my worst of times, that's what saves me.
All right. You learn something new every day. Who says the broadcast can also be educational? You know?
You could always throw in a little bit of sports science there, right?
There you go.
All right, we're getting things back going with a Western possession.
This wind, by the way, is really starting to whip. I'd be surprised if we see a ton of balls in the air, kind of like that low ball on the ground.
Yeah, but it's going to be a lot of knuckleballs now. And that looks like that's Apple Felder in the goal for Cass Tech now. Wow.
What do you think they put her at keeper?
Well, I've been in this situation before, and that's because she's your best player.
And also both of your keepers have been hurt.
Both of your keepers are hurt.
Now, Singh left the game earlier, and Sonia Singh is now starting to run behind the benches. So I wonder if they're going to try to get her in at some point. At least they're probably trying to test and see if she can go in.
They definitely are.
You don't, as you say, you kind of have to put your best player at keeper right now. But you'd rather have Apple up front.
I've had to do that with my own daughter before, coaching at Renaissance High School, and she was our best goal scorer and the most capable player we had. But when both of our goalies went down, one with a broken nose, I had to put her in there because of the fact that she was simply the best player we had and the one that the girls had the most trust in to save them. So right now the girls have their trust that Apple Felder is going to keep them going. But it looks like we do have a sub.
We will. Singh's going to come in. Felder's cameo as the keeper lasted. Oh, no. No, she's not coming in. They just had to give her goalie mitts.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. This does not bode well for Cass Tech right now.
Wind could make corner kicks interesting rest of the night. And cleared by the technicians. Western plays to space, far side of the pitch. Another cross in. Zamudio had it blocked.
So right now the girls from Cass Tech really need to come together and step it up as a team right now. Their captain and the most capable ball handler they have is back there in the goal. So they really need to work together and really build that attack now.
Throw coming up for the technicians. Preparing to throw with Barboza, Ruiz Barboza, 25. We've got to get an appropriately sized jersey for her. Her jersey is all the way down near her kneecaps. I can understand if 25 is her favorite number and she wants to wear 25, but the poor jersey's just a little too big.
Yeah. It is kind of as every bit as tall as she is.
I mean, you brought up the prom. I mean, it kind of looks like a dress. It's a little long over there.
Hey, if she gets it hemmed just right, I think that can definitely double as her prom dress.
I would hope for her sake that's not her prom dress. Anywho.
So we have Cass Tech here right now trying to get, good move.
That's a great move. Excellent foot skills by Allegria. She's done that a couple of times tonight for the technicians.
But Western has that possession again now.
Good ball ahead, and goal number 6.
What? Yep, that's a goal. Refs counted. That's all the way through. There was nothing that Apple Felder could have done about that one. That was a 3-on-1.
Jocelyn and Sherlyn Villarreal have scored 4 of the 6 Western goals tonight. Man, you talk about a turnaround, right? It was 1-1, and then the 5 unanswered for Western, especially because both these teams played a couple days ago, and it was 4-3. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, but, that's the thing about when you go against Western. It's like there's Western during the regular season, and then there's Western in the championship game. And I faced them in both times. That season that I faced Coach Brad in that championship game, me and him went 1 for 1 in the regular season. And I had my girls feeling really good, and then they put it on us in the championship game. It wasn't even close.
What do you think it is about when they get to a championship game, everything flips?
I mean, at some point, it becomes a culture, it becomes an expectation. When a lot of these girls are at the middle school level, some of them come from the Academy of America middle school program. And so when you go against the Academy of the Americas middle school program, they have a culture of yearly going to championships. And that same culture has been built in Western at the high school level. So these kids, they come to Western just to win soccer championships. And that's how Coach Brad sells his program to players. When he was recruiting my own daughter coming out of middle school, he told her, hey, come to Western if you want to win a championship.
Let's give a little love to Apple Felder,
That
who
was
is
a
not a
beautiful
keeper.
save.
That was a nice save.
A wonderful save by Apple Felder. And that's why you put her back there, because when you don't have anyone else that you can really count on to go back there, you put your star. And that shows what kind of a leader she is, that she's given up her opportunity to score goals just to try to at least attempt to keep Western from scoring more on them.
To say that Apple Felder isn't athletic would be an incorrect statement.
I mean, it has been truly a joy to watch her play over these past few years, and
just a little high.
Just over the bar. I mean, it has been truly a joy to watch her develop and play over these last few years and see the star that she has become and the way she has gone on to lead this Cass Tech team over the years. And, I mean, she came on as a freshman phenom and has lived up to all the hype. All the hype.
What other sports does Apple play?
I believe one of her sports I knew at some point was baseball.
Okay.
So, and I believe, if I heard correctly, at some point she was involved with the basketball program. So she's an all-around athlete, but I mean, soccer has been what she's been most known for just around the city in general, in the Rosedale Park League. I mean, Apple Felder's name definitely rings bells. All right, that was a good save by Western, and now Cass Tech finally has the ball in their attacking third. What can they do with it here is a big question.
That was a nice job by Hernandez on the run ahead. Allegria threw it in.
Oh, a nutmeg.
Oh, that was well done.
Oh, that was a beautiful, beautiful footwork. Western on the attack again, building their attack. The cross is in. Can Cass Tech save it? And the ball's through. But Cass Tech's able to win that ball in the end.
Cass Tech's got to run back and get it. Great job first on the nutmeg, Steven, and then, another good ball ahead. This is the type of game, right? 18 minutes to go, you're up by 5. You can start trying fun stuff like that.
Yeah, that becomes the benefit. So at this point, you can kind of dictate things on your terms, and you don't have a lot to worry about if you're Western right now. If you're Cass Tech, you're looking for some kind of spark. You don't want to go into your state playoff run demoralized from what happened in the city championship. So you at least want to get at least one more goal up there before this game's over. You want to remind yourself of how you got to this point.
Rolls out. Zamudio's going to go after it for Western, but they will get a sub here. So the Cowgirls frequently sub women in and out in the first 40 minutes. High school halves in soccer are 40 minutes. It's a wrinkle as opposed to the pro ranks. You can sub men and women in and out, high school and college. They can come back in.
All right, we have Cass Tech trying to get that ball out of their own third.
That's Kelly Ford who's after it and lost it. Try got blocked before it could get to Felder.
The Western still has it, though, still possessing it.
Villarreal rolls it in.
They got the ball in the box.
And
good save by Felder. So that's a rare stat that you get to see in a soccer game when one player has a goal and a save.
That's right. I mean, what's the equivalent in the? That's like I guess in baseball. I don't know. You drive in a run and then you also pitch in the same game.
You know, I mean, if you want to talk about some recent NFL references, the NFL draft just happened. You have Travis Hunter playing both ways.
That's right.
Having touchdowns.
I didn't think we'd get a Travis Hunter reference in the broadcast. Okay.
So Apple Felder has become the Travis Hunter of this game today.
I wonder if Travis Hunter's actually going to play both positions in the NFL. He's an amazing athlete. At that level, I just think people are going to get tired. You know, I think he's going to have to pick one.
You know, I mean, that is so much of a physical strain at that level when everyone's so strong and everyone's so fast and all those hits are a little bit harder than they were in college. If he can pull that off, that would be some high entertainment right there.
Jacksonville Jaguars about to enjoy watching Travis Hunter for the next few years at least.
I mean, they've got a nice young wide receiving duo, and I mean, the people in Duval should be a little bit excited right now.
Unfortunately, with the game going on, I haven't been able to look at my phone and see officially the Lions' schedule. Did you hear the news they're playing on Christmas this year?
I did.
Oh, that's a nice ball, and Felder got
what a
there.
Save, the diving save by Felder.
We told you she's athletic. Watch this.
I mean, if there was anyone who would ever be eligible for a player of the game on a losing effort, it would definitely be that young lady, Apple Felder.
I think Stephen Williams is trying to give Apple Felder the G of the game when her team's down 6-1. I think that's what's going on here.
But she was that one for them, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And at this point, she's been the difference between it being worse.
It's true. She's got the kicks over there, too, at the keeper spot. I don't know if that's like fluorescent pink or orange. We'll show her again in a minute.
Hey, those are her trademark bright orange cleats. And you can always tell where she's at on the field at all times.
You're not a soccer player unless you've got fun cleats, you know?
Hey, that's how you make your name for yourself. I always told all of my young athletes from when they're starting playing soccer at the grades of 3 and 4, I'm like, hey guys, your cleats are your identity. That's how you express yourself. Everything else is uniform.
As a great American poet once said, if you look good, you feel good, you play good, you play good, you pay good.
Hey.
You're welcome, Dion.
And he has not been wrong yet. Oh, good move. All right, Western attacking again. Can the Cass Tech defenders clear that ball out?
Smith's done a nice job along that back line for Cass Tech tonight.
They really need to work together to try to move that ball. We're seeing a lot of hero ball from Cass Tech right now. They need to work together to try to get that ball out of their half, or they're going to need Apple to make some more saves.
Coming up on 12 and a half to go. Western scored twice in this second half, and they are on their way to a 9th straight city championship in girls soccer.
Hey, I mean, this is a dynasty like no other, and Coach Brad prides himself on it. And that's why I prided myself so much in beating Coach Brad in the Fantasy Football Championship this past season.
Oh, really? You just had to get that in there.
I had to get that
How
little
about
rub
that?
in.
Okay, so who was on the team that led to the championship? Who were our big picks?
So my MVP for that particular championship game had to be T. Higgins. He went off that week, and I believe he had about 3 touchdowns for me, and he was the difference in me beating Coach Brad that week in the championships. And he had.
That's going to be a foul. Nothing too terrible there, but
glad that both girls are okay. Okay, the Cass Tech went for the quick restart.
They sure did, and they're going to have to bring the ball back. Villarreal getting up. Tough customer. Collided with Hernandez. There was definitely a shove in there. So you won your fantasy football championship, but you're a Detroiter, so we had to have some Lions on the team, right?
So I must say that I got a whole lot of help from Jahmyr Gibbs this season, and I really appreciate everything that he did for me in my championship run.
Excellent.
And I don't know where I'll be without him. And considering that Coach Brad had just knocked out my daughter the previous week in the playoffs, I had to get him back. And then the previous week he had beat my dad in the playoffs.
Oh my God!
So I'm like, listen, you can't beat my whole family on the way to a championship, Brad. At some point it has to stop, and the buck stops here.
I agree. He's a one-man wrecking crew, just taking out all your family members in the fantasy football league. That's terrible.
I mean, this was that season for him. He happened to sneak into the playoffs and then just went on a dangerous run and almost went all the way.
Zamudio with a dangerous try, but it sails over the crossbar.
So right now, if you're Cass Tech, more than anything, you want to get that ball out of this half of the field. So they have got to be tired of defending at some point, and they have got to want to feel good about themselves. And if they can do anything right now, they can go for it. But knowing Coach Brad's Cowgirls, they are not going to stop applying the pressure.
So with them about to win the city championship again, as they look forward to the playoffs, they're scheduled to play Grosse Pointe South in the first round. What's Western's mindset? What are they thinking about as they go into the playoffs?
Right now, they're feeling like they have all the momentum. They're in the right frame of mind. They want to keep this frame of mind right here. They can come into the district round of the playoffs, be confident, be aggressive, shoot their shots, and see how the ball lands for them next week. That's all they can hope for in the end.
Right. And, of course, the same deal for Cass Tech, who will play Crestwood out of Dearborn Heights when they get to the playoffs. They have the one more game against River Rouge before that.
Yeah, and the best of luck with Cass Tech against that game against Crestwood, because that team is built from so many travel players from the Dearborn Jaguars that, they are always a major competitor in these state playoffs.
I hope poor Applefelder's wearing her Apple Watch, because she is getting her steps in.
Hey, right now, she is proving every bit of the Iron Woman that she is. Playing both ways right now, scoring, defending, getting balls, running all over the place. I wish I was ever in that kind of shape.
You still can be. I never say never, man. Come on.
Hey, listen, that she's a rare specimen right there.
Still time to add to this score.
And that's exactly what these Cowgirls are trying to do right now. They aren't going to let up right now. They're going to keep being aggressive. They're going to keep the pressure on, because as far as they're concerned, that's the mindset they need going into the state playoffs. They need to be aggressive. They need to be confident. They need to have their feel for where their shots are.
That was Jocelyn Villarreal, who just took the long try that caromed off a Cass Tech defender. It's out for a throw.
So if you're a Cass Tech right now, you really want to at least show Western that coming into next year that you're going to still be competitive with them. So right now, more than anything, we just want to see some heart from the girls out there.
We've talked about this before on broadcast. You do learn a lot about a team and a program when, look, there's 7 minutes left and Western's up 6-1. They're going to win this game, but you learn a lot about the fight from both sides as well. there's that old sports cliche of forget what the score is, but it does hold true, especially in a case like this. She'll learn a lot about Cass Tech in the final few minutes.
Most definitely, because I promise you, these Western girls, they know right now that they allow Cass Tech to score any goals right now, they will hear about it from Coach Brad. There's no doubt in the back of their minds.
You know, Zamudio has played so well for Western in this game, but unfortunately she just hasn't scored. That's got to be tough, right? When you're someone like her, 17 for Western, where you have the good game, you set up a lot of opportunities, but you haven't scored. Even if you're the most unselfish person in the world, you go to bed, your head hits the pillow, and you go, man, I would have liked to score in that game where we scored like 6 times.
Definitely. You know, she definitely would have liked to have gotten one of the goals on there. You know, even if it, doesn't make a big difference towards the winning or the losing, it would definitely feels good to get on the scoreboard, to see your name up there, especially in a championship game.
Yep.
Because not many players can say that they've scored a goal in a championship game.
Sun setting on a glorious night in Detroit, and about to be another championship night for the Western Cowgirls. This will be their 9th city soccer championship in a row. It was 1-1, early stages of the first half. Cowgirls scored 3 more times to take a 4-1 lead into that first half break. And they've scored 2 more times here in the second half. It's been on cruise control for the last few minutes.
You know, I'll be honest, when I see that quick Applefelder goal right after that Western goal, I thought to myself, this might be a different kind of championship game this year.
Now, a couple of years ago, the championship game between these two was 6-5. It went to a shootout. Western hung on to win that one, but last year it was 7-0 Western. And today, a similar story. They may get another one.
And you begin to wonder, is the window for Cass Tech starting to close? Because some of those players that Applefelder had to play with when she was a freshman coming in have moved on and graduated, and that's why she's now the leader that she is on this team. And you wonder how quickly can Cass Tech reload and stay competitive and stay close to getting their championship. So now you have Coach Brad letting some of his other players get a little bit of championship experience in.
It's 22, Jacora Bridgman, who just came in.
So we're in that last 4 minutes of the game, and this is where you can allow some of the girls to go ahead and get that feel of getting in there and getting some experience, because you never know when you're going to need them.
Villarreal plays it ahead, and it's out for a goal kick. And I'll speak from personal experience here. For everybody who's on a team, when you get in at the end of a game, especially if you're a younger player, right? When you're a junior or senior, you're expecting to play, you are playing. But when you're a sophomore, maybe still a junior, and you get to play when you didn't think you were going to play, that means a lot. Yeah, it means a lot. Especially when you've put in all the time at practice. And you almost want to prove to people, hey, I'm on the team too, you know?
And that's the thing about these programs like Cass Tech and like Western, where a lot of us in the other schools in DPS are still building programs and getting kids together. I'm still building the program at Mumford High School right now, getting players together to try to get the team able to compete in the DPS league. You know, if you're a team like Cass Tech and Western, I mean, you've got a plethora of players to use, where you have your starters out there, and then you have kids who can kind of come up through the freshman and the sophomore years, watching the seniors and the juniors go out there and playing championships, and then learn and be ready when your time comes. Another great save by Applefelder.
You would never know that she's not a keeper if you've only watched the last 15 minutes.
I mean, and a great drop kick to follow. I mean, the girl can do it all.
Let's see if Cass can get one more here.
Cass Tech is on the attack right now. Let's see if they can do anything with it. Oh, and they're bumped off the ball in the end. Can Western clear that ball out of their third? We have a Cass Tech player on the turf right now, but the refs are going to see if Western can clear that ball first.
Brianna Jarkin-Lopez, number 27, is still down. And now they will stop play, Steven. It looked like she was massaging something on her left leg.
Yep, and so what the refs were doing there, they were going ahead and allowing the run of play to kind of finish out, because if Cass Tech could have came out with a goal from all that, they didn't want to stop them from that scoring opportunity, because they haven't had the ball that deep that many times this game.
We unfortunately have had a couple of injury stoppages in this game. Medical staff here will take a look at Brianna. Freshman for Cass Tech, who you'd hope is around for more games like this going forward. Good to see her get to her feet.
Yep, yes, it's good to see her go ahead and be able to walk off with a little bit of help. At this point, she's walking off on her own strength. So, you know, look, she played her heart out there. She gave it a good game, and now she gets to go ahead and get some rest.
.80 seconds just about, and Detroit Western about to celebrate their 9th straight Girls Soccer City Championship. Still going to give out our G of the game. I think the leader in the clubhouse is Jocelyn Villarreal, who had that awesome goal off a free kick in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely had the goal of the game, if nothing else. Oh, Western's through again. Oh, no! Goal!
Amy Plata has goal number 7 for Western. The cherry on top of a 9th straight championship Sunday. That's a great shot.
Absolutely nothing Applefelder could have done about that one. I mean, that was a one-on-one, and I mean, Apple can only do so much.
It's true.
And she's done a lot this game.
6 in a row for Western. It was 1-1 in the first half, but ever since, the Cowgirls took command.
Yep, and they just kept it, and they kept that pressure going, and they never let Cass Tech even think to come back in this one. And they're on the attack again. I mean, if Western can score one more, I promise you they will.
Zamudio wants one. Oh, and it goes wide.
Just wide left.
Remember how we were talking about? You can tell she wants one.
She does. I mean, this is the championship game, and she wants to see her name on the scorecard tonight.
It's about to be another celebration for the women of Detroit Western. The Cowgirls, yet again, are the queens of soccer in Detroit. They have now won the City Championship 9 years in a row.
Western is the champions again. I mean, the dynasty continues. The dynasty continues.
What a team effort. 7 goals. They score the final 6 in this one, and they are the champions. We're back to Detroit Mercy to wrap it all up right after this.
Take a look at us right now. We are everything that will be. We are an engine of progress that has been forged by generations, driven by the knowledge that each student in every classroom has the potential to be their best self and inspire us all. We are teachers, parents, families, all ready to do our part. We know when students rise, we all rise. We are Detroit Public Schools Community District.
Look, everybody wanna go and talk. At the same time, gotta walk. Better yet, run, go, hit a lick, divvy up with my homies, and we do it all again. Whenever we get it, there's no hesitation.
What makes people stand in this line like this for 3 hours? Because we're not Dunkin' Donuts or Tim Hortons. These donuts are made fresh daily, and it's made with love and consistency. We got the same ingredients. It didn't change. The people know that, and that's why they standing out there.
In today's ever-changing mortgage lending world, the importance of true professionals has never been greater. At Success Mortgage Partners, we want you to have the experience of a lifetime. Founded and owned by Catholic League alumni, our family-centered business keeps your interest at heart as we help you navigate this turbulent market with ease. If you or a family member has a mortgage need, please call me, Owen Lee, at 734-822-9792.
Hi, I'm Nick DePonio, and this is HVAC.
We are the MHSAA, a collection of 750 high schools and 750 middle schools, from Temperance to Copper Harbor, from New Buffalo to Alpena. Each year, more than 250,000 students play one of our 28 sports. More than 1.5 million fans attend our postseason games. There are 30,000 coaches and 8,000 officials, not to mention all of the volunteers. The MHSAA believes in the 4 S's. School sports should be safe and kept in the appropriate scope. We believe nothing beats great sportsmanship, and that scholarship in the classroom is more important than excellence on the field or court. Most of all, we believe school sports should be fun. So come out and join us at a game. Support your school, support your community, and come see what the excitement is all about.
At Alliance Catholic Credit Union, we're your financial guardian angel. We're here to help you achieve your dreams. A new home, a Catholic education, that business you are working to build. We're here to support the goals of your family, your retirement, and the community that surrounds you. We're here to offer your trusted financial services inspired by Catholic values. And like your guardian angel, we'll always be by your side. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Lowering the shoulder.
Swing and a miss. McGinley scores!
And it's going to be a challenge for us. I mean, they're a really talented football team. I think everybody knows that.
4 wide receivers. Pressure. Steps up. Marshall wants to run again. Cuts down the middle of the field. All alone. Touchdown! Warriors! What a cut.
All right, this is Adam. Take 2. Mark?
I guess.
I go like this.
The best part about playing football in Texas has to be the reaction from the community.
I would encourage others to play volleyball or choir because you get to experience new things and do stuff that you've never done before. My reason why is passion.
My reason why is pride.
Take a look at us right now. We are everything that will be. We are an engine of progress that has been forged by generations, driven by the knowledge that each student in every classroom has the potential to be their best self and inspire us all. We are teachers, parents, families, all ready to do our part. We know when students rise, we all rise. We are Detroit Public Schools Community District.
Everybody wanna go and talk. At the same time, gotta walk it. Better yet, run, go, hit a lick, divvy up with my homies, and we do it all again. Whenever we get it, there's no hesitation.
Lowering the shoulder.
Swing and a miss. McGinley scores! The store is set up. He's got the order, and he's off. It's a full court press. These brands are knocking it out of the park. This, my friends, is the speed we've come to expect from this team. Just look at the precision of that move. And it's out of here.
Cowgirls of Detroit Western are city champions again for the 9th year in a row. Jocelyn Villarreal, a big reason why. She scored twice in this game. She's our G of the game. Jocelyn, the microphone only slides that far, so can you come just a little bit closer? You're good, you're good. So we talked about on the broadcast your long goal off a set piece. Be honest, when you lined over that ball, I think it made it 4-1 at the time, were you going for a goal? Did you think it was going to go in?
Yeah, I thought all my balls have gone over the net, so I'm going to try this one out to see if it goes in this time.
Not only do you play with a bunch of your friends on the team, but you also play with your cousin. So did you grow up playing with one another? Do you have a little bit of an extra connection out on the field?
Yes, we do. I actually grew up playing with her in the community team that we had. And yeah, we get a good bond and stuff.
The program at Detroit Western for soccer, boys and girls, it seems like they're winning the city championship every single year. Why is your school so good at soccer every year?
I think we just want it, and we try our best, and we put every single thing we have to be able to play good and put our hearts on there and make sure we win it again.
And obviously the season's not over. You still got the playoffs coming up. So how do you take the momentum of winning this big game into all the big games coming up?
Well, we just use it as a way to remind ourselves that we could do it, and working together and connected with each other, we could make it out big stuff.
So what the people watching may or may not know is Jocelyn, she wanted to be prepared. She asked us what questions we were going to ask before the interview. I don't think I just asked her a single question. I told her we were going to ask her, and she still did a great job. Congratulations. You're the G of the game.
Thank you.
You can put on the hat, too, if you want.
Okay, thank you.
You're good. Big one for the Detroit Western Cowgirls. They are city champions. We'll take one final break and come on back to show the highlights after this. Congratulations to the Cowgirls of Detroit Western. They are city champions yet again. Back at Detroit Mercy, one final time, looking back at the highlights of this championship for the Detroit Western Cowgirls. Congratulations to Jocelyn Villarreal, our G of the game, scoring twice in a game where Detroit Western scored early and often. They got the first one, but Cass Tech, to their credit, got the next one, and 10 seconds later, Appelfelder made it a 1-1 game, and then everything started going right for the Cowgirls after that. They scored the next 6 in the game overall. They scored the next 3 in the first half, and they'd end up winning the game by a final of 7-1. That's 5 wins in a row for the Western Cowgirls, who started the season 2-6. But then all of a sudden, they have turned this thing back in the right direction. And as you heard Jocelyn tell us about, the expectation at their school to win, the expectation to continually succeed, and the great big smile she had on her face. All the excitement for the Western Cowgirls winning that PSL Girls City Championship yet again. That is the 9th year in a row that the Cowgirls are champions. And we say goodnight from the campus of Detroit Mercy. For our entire crew behind the scenes, Sherbs, the Huntman, Evan, and my partner Stephen Williams, Evan Stockton saying good night from Detroit Mercy. We're Detroit Western City champions again.